save the planet, cut down on pollution, and revolutionize our roads. You've heard all the talking points. But that's not what Toyota CEO Akio Toyoda thinks of them. His advice? Don't buy an EV because electric vehicles are the biggest scam of the time. This whole EV mania, it's more of a gold rush for big corporations and a win-win for politicians than a real opportunity for the rest of us. These shiny cars of the future look cool and they're silent, but are they dependable? That's not the case. And the price on those things? These rides are not what you'd call affordable. The fact is, the EV market is quietly collapsing, proving that Toyota's CEO was right all along. But what exactly is this dire warning about? Why is there something political leaders aren't telling us about EVs? And are the EVs themselves a scam? Keep watching. EVs are cool, all right, especially when they drive themselves around the block. And that's something every car maker wants. They're exactly the kind of promising technology that has the potential to drive profits to unimaginable highs. But what about Mr. Toyota and the rest of the world's car buyers? Don't bet the farm on it, warns Akio. You see, while the rest of the world seemed fixated on diving headfirst into the EV pool, Toyota stood up and said, "Hold up, guys. Are we sure this is the only way to swim?" And it turns out he's been ahead of the curve. Speaking from Thailand, Akio Toyoda didn't mince his words. He believes he's part of what he calls the silent majority in car biz, the ones who are beginning to wonder if EVs are everything we've been told they are in terms of an end-all be-all solution. Toyota's take? Not so fast with the EV be-all. It's people like him who want to keep car companies' options open, the ability to have hybrids and plug-in hybrids and hydrogen vehicles alongside battery electrics. You might say he's thinking, why put all our eggs in one basket when that basket is still being woven? This at a time when it seems every car company under the sun can't rush fast enough to pledge their futures to all-electric lineups. Akio Toyoda causes a stir that resonates throughout the car world. Electric vehicles are not the carbon-neutral knight in shining armor they're cracked up to be, after all. He's been letting on about it for a while now, stirring it up with this against the grain. But it's precisely his outspokenness about such views that may have led to being bundled into a taxi and thrown out the lobby of Toyota, paving the way for Koji Sato to step up and take the helm as the new CEO. So why would Toyota suddenly get benched like that? Turns out the political powers and a few heavy hitters had their eyes on the EV gold rush, but thought Toyota's whole cautious spiel was putting a serious kibosh on their plans. I mean, how can you make the most of this whole EV boom with someone out there who's questioning the whole narrative? Yeah, that wasn't going to fly, so they turned the screws big time. Think, environmentalists threatening boycotts, staging demonstrations, and penning a whole lot of those open letters people seem to really hate these days. All of which basically said, either you dig electric cars, or we'll make sure it costs you a pretty penny in fines. And it wasn't just the activists either. The money guys started getting all kinds of twitchy too, with entities like Academiker Pension, a massive $19 billion asset Danish behemoth, getting all up in Toyota's grill and demanding he come clean on what's with all the EV hating. And they certainly weren't alone, as Europe's largest major investors quickly started banging on the exact same door because, let's face it, ain't nobody got time for Toyota to be all late to the whole EV party. But Toyota wasn't budging, even a little. They decided right then and there, in the middle of this whole fiasco, that they were going to stick to their guns and screw everyone who says otherwise. At their regular annual meeting, Toyota exec Yoichi Miyazaki went ahead and put the word out. Plain and simple, cars powered by gas just ain't going nowhere. He said the move shouldn't be to ditch cars, but to just go right on ahead and cut emissions any way we can. He basically told everyone that the real move was just to play the saddest tune on the smallest violin because, face it, EVs just don't cut it for everyone, right? I mean, let's break it down. Not everyone is jumping for joy about EVs, considering not all of us can just drop a good chunk of money on a new car. And have you stopped and considered what a nightmare finding a charging station is turning into? Not to mention reports of EVs catching fire and some straight-up terrible news about just what a headache it is to fix them. Thing is, when you've got a huge chunk of the country feeling like gas cars are a thing of the past and turning their back, everyone's suddenly getting all kinds of busy drinking that Hatorade and forgetting all the perks that come with gas. And so, here you have it. Toyota's chairman is just asking us to sit down and see the bigger picture. We shouldn't just keep insisting on the popularization of EVs, because let's face it, one size does not fit all, and we might need to break and make our way to that carbon-free dream in a different lane. Now, let's zoom out a little further here. Toyota's chairman has just said, let's not forget people by going too fast. And he's not the only one thinking along these lines. The man who has been the flag bearer of the EV revolution just hit a bit of a speed bump. I mean, Tesla's third quarter figures were, well, something else. Elon Musk saw his net worth tumble $28 billion as Tesla shares fell, erasing an eye-watering $148 billion from its market value over 2 days. It's a wake-up call for what's been a dizzying journey to the electric future for the company. Mr. Akio Toyoda called out what's increasingly becoming clear. EVs are getting just too expensive, and with the carefully designed path of the internal combustion engine untaken, many are being left out of the picture. This, as his company is making good money and notching up record-high profits. But he's not alone. Whether it's Lucid cutting down production targets, GM delaying Silverado EV launch, or Ford pausing its F-150 Lightning production after a loss, the EV world is careening into some sharp rocks. Sales are stuttering. Hundreds of thousands of electric cars are just sitting waiting for a home as the frenzied demand slowly fades away. Toyota might have a few tricks up his sleeve, better than what we've seen in the market so far. On the political side, the Biden administration is really pushing hard with emission standards to make companies sell more electric vehicles, EVs. They even wanted to switch to an all-EV lineup by 2030. But a leak from a Consumer Reports study showed a problem. Turns out EVs, those quiet machines in our garages, are 80% more likely to need repairs than gas cars. And those repairs aren't cheap. Think up to $40,000. You might be asking yourself, is Toyota finally ramping up its EV game? It's an interesting point to ponder. Toyota has indeed been dipping its toes into the EV market, though it seems they haven't plunged in headfirst yet. Last year was quite revealing in terms of their strategy. Toyota managed to sell 54,000 plug-in electric vehicles, which breaks down into about 14,715 all-electric vehicles and nearly 40,000 plug-in hybrids. When you look at these numbers, it's clear there's been a significant leap from their previous performance. Particularly noteworthy is the last quarter of 2023, where Toyota hit a new high by selling over 202,000 electrified units. This represents a massive 61% increase compared to the year before and accounts for 32.6% of their total sales volume. It's evident that Toyota is on an upward trajectory, showcasing impressive growth and adaptability in the electrified vehicle market. However, despite this positive momentum and the introduction of some enticing models like the RAV4 Prime and the all-electric BZ4X, Toyota seems to be treading cautiously. They've dialed back their EV sales expectations by almost 40%. This decision raises some eyebrows and begs the question of why. The answer seems to lie in the intensely competitive landscape of the EV market, particularly in China, where manufacturers are locked in a fierce price war. This competition is not just about who has the best technology or the most efficient electric vehicle, but also about who can offer their products at a price point that attracts the most consumers. Toyota's adjustment in their forecast suggests they are keenly aware of these challenges and are strategizing accordingly. That's why, while everyone else is jumping into EVs, Toyota's sticking with hybrids, avoiding the price fights. This move has got environmentalists upset and investors puzzled, wondering if Toyota's missing out. But Toyota knows what it's doing. They're focusing on what everyday people need and can afford. Sure, an all-electric car sounds great, but if it's too expensive to insure and maintain, what's the point? Toyota's keeping it real, offering cars that people can actually use. There's still a long road ahead in the EV world. Toyota's CEO, Koji Sato, seems like a smart guy. He knows the demand for EVs is growing, especially in warmer places, but he's aware we're not there yet. Who wants their car to give up in cold winters? No one, because EVs are completely failure in cold weathers. So what do you think? Is it time for everyone to switch to electric, or is Toyota right to wait? Drop your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching.